Honorable Education Minister, Government of Assam, Dr. Ranoj Peguji, Secretary Youth Affairs, Government of India, Srimati Meeta Rajiv Lochanji, Chief Secretary, Government of Assam, Shri Pavan Kumar Bharat Thakurji, Principal Secretary Education, Shri Kalyan Chakrabarti ji, and Y20 Chair, Shri Anmol Soviji, my friends from the G20 countries, friends from media, Namaskar, Tumi Keni Asa. For our international friends, it means, hello, how are you? Did you enjoy your time in awesome Assam? Did you? Did you make new friends? Did you enjoy the food? Did you make memories of a lifetime? And how many of you are planning to return to India soon? It gives me great honor to convey to you all a very warm and heartfelt congratulations for attending the Y20 inception meeting at Guwahati, Assam in run-up to the main Youth 20 Summit in 2023. India has assumed the presidency of G20 on 1st December 2022 for a period of 1 year up to 30th November 2023. This is a time of immense honor and national pride for our nation. India's theme for its presidency is enshrined in its civilizational value system of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, hence our theme, one earth, one family, one future. The first day of December in 2022 will be remembered as a watershed moment for India and its population, as the country has taken the honor of hosting the largest multilateral event ever held on its land. This is both an honor and responsibility as well, as this event occurs during the Amrit Kal, the 75th year of India's independence. With the G20 presidency, India has the unique opportunity to demonstrate to the world our people's extraordinary prowess. Our G20 presidency affords us the opportunity to highlight our Atithi Devo Bhava tradition. The G20 presidency of India will work to promote this sense of global unity and therefore our motto, one earth, one family, one future. The process of social inclusion of our youth, including participation in decision making, promotes their role as active contributors to society. Youth has immense transformative powers, and youthful energy is harnessed and leveraged in the right direction, which can indeed put the world on a course of more sustainable future. The Government of India prioritizes youth development and work towards creating an ecosystem for empowering the dynamism of young people through several youth intervention programs and schemes. Capturing the enthusiasm of youth, the Y20 Forum will be crucial as we discuss the modalities and mechanism for developing well-crafted policy recommendations by the youth representatives for relevant G20, Y20 priority agenda. This will focus on global health architecture, digital transformation, and sustainable energy transition. This Youth20 Forum for future young leaders from all the G20 member countries hold great importance as the youth are in the league to shape the future and lead the coming generations towards a just, equitable, and progressive world. It is a high time to empower youth to explore innovative ideas to tackle developmental changes based on our civilizational ethos that sees the youth as an enabler of shared peace and prosperity. We look forward to working collectively for achieving the goal of Y20. We seek practical worldwide solutions for everybody in the true spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. India's G20 leadership reflects the Honorable Prime Minister's Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas goal. The G20 represents 85% of the GDP, global GDP, and 75% of the global commerce, 65% of the worldwide population. India aspires to discover sustainable solutions to global issues, including climate change, emerging technologies, food and energy security, more through its G20 presidency. During the inception meeting on 6th and 7th February 2023, various eminent panelists had discussed on the 5 identified themes of Y20. Based on the discussions and deliberations, the white paper on the 5 different themes has been prepared, which unveils that the active involvement youth in peace building, creating global youth networks is crucial. Lifelong learners, technological adapters will shape the future workforce. And these 3 days saw invigorating ideation, spirited dialogues and deliberations on some of the most crucial issues humanity is faced with. Shared with refreshing perspective from youth across the G20 region, over 200 youth delegates from G20 countries participated in this 3-day mega event. Over 12,000 college university students attended this event. Furthermore, every higher education institute in Assam organized awareness drives at 10 neighboring schools to sensitize school children about the G20 groupings and functioning. Let me thank the Honorable CM, Honorable Education Minister, and the entire officials for their effort to create more beyond. Your cultural exchange has given me much to think about as I held the first ever youth dialogue with Y20 delegates. I'm also happy to go through your white paper, which has carefully been drafted, keeping your views and aspirations and agenda in mind. I stand by the firm belief that the Y20 India Summit this year would exemplify youth-centric efforts and showcase progressive policy measures ideated by the youth for the youth across the globe. As Prime Minister Modi says, and I quote, "The world has crafted a beautiful balance of collective action, common but differentiated responsibility, and respective capabilities," I unquote. Therefore, it is very important to have a growth mindset and action-oriented approach in order to get things done and achieve your shared goals. Your actions must speak for themselves. The 5 key themes of the Y20 Summit have been carefully chosen to deliberate upon for a shared future of our global community. These 5 themes present an extraordinary opportunity for you all to create, collaborate, and contribute to the development agenda of G20. They are quite interesting, so let me share some of my thoughts too. First, the future of works, Industry 4.0, innovation and 21st century skills. A global pandemic, economic sanctions, geopolitical uncertainties have all had significant implication for the future of supply chains, particularly the flow of trade, talent, and the technology. As we move towards a digital, disruptive, and demand-driven world, the skills of the future will be determined by the marketplace. It will be interesting to hear about how future workplaces may be prepared through the principles of unlearning, relearning, and reskilling. Will cross-border innovation be fueled by cross-border collaborations? How the gig economy will shine through as a new age industry? How many catalyze the startup ecosystem such that it aligns with the development goals of governments across the world? The role of traditional economic will also undergo a paradigm shift, and it will be important to evaluate this as part of Industry 4.0. Government of India, in its recent budget, has planned and announced to skill lakhs of youth in India to make them future ready for the future works, Industry 4.0, especially focusing on areas like artificial intelligence, 3D printing, coding, Internet of Things, machine learning and all. We are ready to open 30 Skill India International Center across the country. There will be 3 Centers of Excellence for Artificial Intelligence. There will be close to 5 million youth who will be given stipend over the period of next 3 years. I'm glad to hear the initiatives taken by the government of Assam to start the skill centers not only at the district but at the block level also. I thank you and congratulate you for this initiative as well. Next is the climate change and disaster risk reduction. Apart from our efforts towards use of renewable energy and building the global consensus with the Solar Alliance, Honorable Prime Minister Modi made the historical commitment for India to be the net zero by 2070 at the World Leaders Summit at COP26. It was the most bold and ambitious commitment made by any world leader at COP26. Not only making the commitment, but the target what we set for the 2023, we have already achieved that in the year 2021, 9 years in advance. India introduced the idea of life or lifestyles for environment. This is an agenda for the sustainable future of the world community. As the world grapples with the changing weather patterns, shifting crop cycles, flash floods, we are also seeing a generational shift in our daily lives. Little changes like the use of paper straws, jute bags, separation of plastic and recycled waste, vegetarian food preferences are also shaping up as a movement of choice amongst the youth. Next, peace building and reconciliation. The world faces a plethora of transitional changes to human existence in turbulent era of international relations. India has a long history of service in United Nations peacekeeping, having contributed more personnel than any other country. Equitable collaboration of the global north and global south is an imperative. It is for young minds like you to find mutual areas of consensus and navigating beyond the sea of conflicts ridden by the baggage of history. When the world is seeing a war between two nations, it is the Prime Minister Modi said, and he rightly mentioned, this is not the time for war. And the G20 countries appreciated that and included that as the agenda as well. While standing in the state of Assam in Guwahati, I could say, under the able leadership of Prime Minister Modi, the peace process has taken place in the valley of Jammu and Kashmir, as well as in the northeastern states. If you look at the number of the insurgency incidents have come down by 89% in the northeast. And if you look at the civilian deaths, that has come down by 85% in the last 8 years. That means there is more peace, and Armed Forces Special Protection Act has been withdrawn in many areas in the last 8 years. So one after another, a lot of steps have been taken in the northeastern region, and we have seen in the yesterday's event of the peace reconciliation, many ex-ULFA to other such ex-militants who spoke about their experiences, how they have been involved in the nation-building process today. Next is the shared future, youth in democracy and governance. If you look at the world map, you will realize that India's firm commitment, decade after decade, to the democratic process in a neighborhood of turmoil is an example for the world. It is a beacon of hope that democracy can thrive, is strengthened by diversity, not weakened. The new paradigm of good governance and effective democracy is participative governance wherein citizens are becoming a part of the democratic decision-making process. Prime Minister Modi has always emphasized on Jan Bhagidari to Jan Andolan, from people's involvement, where everyone must feel he or she is working for the progress of a country. Furthermore, India's definition of democracy is not to be restricted to the elections and governments only. Democracy is strengthened by Jan Bhagidari, which means active participation of the people in shaping policies and programs. I would like you to explore how this can be strengthened and amplified through technology. In the state of Jammu and Kashmir, we have started with the district development committees, which never happened in the last 75 years, but we had a very, very successful elections last year. So there is always a possibility of the people's participation, and through the elected representatives, we can bring in more transparency and accountability to the system. And we have seen how elected government in India brought in more transparency. As I discussed with you yesterday, from the CoWIN app, a digital platform, to get your vaccine certificate online, to a UPI Bhim platform to make digital payments, the world's largest digital payment platform. We have such many initiatives in the area of governance which brought in more transparency and accountability into the system, saving billions and billions of dollars for the government of India, and also doing the last mile delivery, also ensuring the last mile delivery in a large country like India with 1.4 billion population. India during the COVID-19 pandemic has delivered free food grains to 800 million people over a period of 28 months in a very, very successful manner, and administered 2.2 billion vaccinations free of cost to every Indian in the country. Not only that, through the vaccine Maitri, India has given vaccine 290 million vaccines to 100 plus countries across the world. So, as I was talking about the health, well-being and sports agenda for youth, the COVID-19 pandemic has shown our national vulnerabilities and also our collective abilities to unite across boundaries. When faced with the pandemic, systems collapsed and national interest made selfish and insecure. India practiced the principle of Vasudev Kutumbakam and supplied vaccines to more than 100 countries. We rolled out the fastest and largest vaccination program with 2.2 billion vaccinations administered. We went fully digital to provide seamless certification through the CoWIN app and registration on the Arogya Setu app. As young people, I hope you realize that there is nothing more important than health and well-being of individuals and the nation itself. So I further encourage you to practice yoga and use Ayurveda, which has been practiced in India for centuries and has proved beneficial in maintaining a healthy body and mind. I urge the youth who are busy and pursuing new skills, writing software and building startups, also to take up a sport and connect to your spiritual side for a soulful life, to find relief from work pressure issues. The Y20 is an opportunity to shape the discourse for governments and nations. It is also an opportunity to find and rediscover yourself, and in some ways to lose yourself in the magical experiences that India offers during your visit. I will leave you and end with few questions you can think about and discuss as you engage with each other over the next few months. Will you rise above conflicts and become the generation that build consensus? Will you be more inclusive towards sections of the society which have historically not gotten a seat at the table? Will you utilize the disruptive nature of technology for global good? Will you make policies which are rooted in reality and yet ambitious of what our future holds and values you truly believe in? Will you promise yourselves to commit to finding pragmatic solutions to problems or succumb to the battles of the day? Think about it, and more importantly, act on it. In the end, I would like to thank the Government of Assam for making wonderful arrangements at IIT Guwahati and in other parts of the Assam. Thank you once again. Thank you all for being here and joining this Y20 Inception meeting. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, sir, for your address. Ladies and gentlemen, our